I am speaking with Jasmine Jasudavicius ahead of UFC 297 in Toronto. The return to Toronto for the UFC for the first time since 2018. Jasmine, first up, I think we are, 5 weeks or so away. How's everything going ahead of this one? How's everything feeling?
Feels good. 5 weeks out. I'm like counting down the days already. It's like, I haven't been in camp like too long now, but already like chomping at the bit. And it's like, I can't wait for fight night.
This is basically going to impact your Christmas because you're in camp. You're probably not going to have all the goodies that you want to eat necessarily, but does this essentially become the biggest Christmas present possible, fighting as close to home as you're realistically going to get?
Exactly. Like, this year's Christmas is really tamed down because of it. And we just plan on celebrating after.
That is awesome. And you got a taste of it in Vancouver with the fan reaction and fighting at home there in Canada. How much more do you think this is going to kind of surpass that potentially? Or, I think Mike Malott said, I don't even know if it can surpass it because the crowd there was so crazy, but do you think Toronto can beat it?
I don't know. Like Mikey said, like it was crazy, and it's like as soon as you got into the hotel, it was like you could already feel like the vibe and everything. I mean, I'm hoping that it's the same thing again, and all the Canadians like win straight and everything. But that was kind of an unbelievable event. So hopefully this one blows it out of the water.
Yeah, you know what? You just pointed that out. All the Canadians won that night. That was pretty wild to have that for the homecoming. It was kind of the perfect recipe for success, or whatever happened, whatever was in the water ahead of that one, all the Canadians came out on top.
Seriously, that was nuts. I remember even like you could feel it in the air. Like I called it even the first day, the first interview that I had. I'm like, I could see Canada going six straight on this. Like it was crazy. I don't know. I hope Toronto's like that.
Well, I hope you have that kind of feeling ahead of this one, absolutely. Before we go further, though, I want to take you back to the last one, Noche UFC. Obviously, it didn't go your way against Tracy Cortez, but what were kind of the takeaways that you had from that, and what have you been working on since?
I continued to work. In that fight, I broke my orbital like right away, like 2 minutes in, so I couldn't see anything. And I'm obviously kind of like unhappy with my performance, but at the same time, under the circumstances, I'm happy with my performance, I guess. But that one's kind of behind me. I've learned my lessons from that, and this is a new adventure, a new kind of monster to tackle.
You mentioned the orbital. How long did that take to heal up? Did it need surgery, or were you able to just let it heal on its own?
No, luckily I didn't have to get surgery. They kept me in Vegas like a couple extra days to make sure that the pressure wouldn't get messed up from me like flying. But then I ended up being cleared to fly, and then I got home, did all the things. When I was even calling for this fight, I was still having kind of like issues with it, and I was like really worried. But I just held out hope that everything would be good with it, and it was continuing to heal, and I didn't want to like not get this opportunity and then kind of be stuck. So I was just like holding out hope and pushing for the fight, and here we are. My eyes are all good, and I'm excited for this event.
Awesome that you got it. The holding back because of the flight thing makes me think of Josh Koscheck, GSP, when they fought in Toronto, and GSP just punched his orbital for 25 minutes, and he had to drive back to the States, if I recall. Yeah. Luckily, it doesn't sound like yours was as bad if you were able to fly after a few days. And glad to hear you're healthy going into this one with Priscila Cachoeira. So, talk to me about the matchup here. I think a lot of people were maybe thinking it might be KGB Lee for a bit, and then this one. So how did this come about?
Not entirely sure. I was just pushing for any fight that I could get. Like I was messaging Mick like every week and just like begging to get on the card. I was doing everything I could on social media. Like, I was I know that KGB's like always like down, and she's like cool. Like I've talked to her many times at the PI. Like I know her decently well, so it was like a very like kind of respectful call out because I know she's like down. You know what I mean? Some people aren't down like she is. So I was hoping for like anyone who would kind of say yes, and Priscilla was the one that said yes, and here we are.
Well, awesome that it worked out. What are you expecting to see from her in the fight in terms of what she brings to the table?
You know, they call her the zombie girl for a reason. I expect her to be like that, a zombie.
Well, it looks like a good one. I mean, she's fought some Canadians before. She fought Jillian Robertson. Jillian Robertson got the win there. MMA math doesn't really work, but hopefully it's another good night for Canadians in Toronto this time. So you're obviously going to have the crowd at your back.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Like in Vancouver, I feel like I had the crowd with me, but like this time I'm really gonna have the crowd because like my family, my friends are able to make it. This is literally like an hour from my house, so it's gonna be unbelievable.
Have your family been able to see a fight live since you've joined the UFC? Because, like you said, Vancouver was the first Canadian date for you. You've had a crowd before and you've had the Apex, but have they been able to be out?
Yeah, my family's been able to come to a couple. My dad, he doesn't come. He doesn't watch me fight. He says it gives him a stomach ache. So he always stays back. But like my mom, my brother, and my sister, they all come. They came to Vancouver. I think my sister, she's like a big fan. She's come to like almost all of them, and my mom as well.
That's funny. Your dad, does he watch them after? Does he like wait to see if you win and then watch them, or does he just not watch them at all?
I don't think he even watches them. I've never actually like asked him because I don't want him to feel bad about it or anything like that. Maybe I will one day. But no, I he doesn't like watching it, so I don't even think he watches them after. Maybe.
I get it though. You're always going to be his little girl, right?
Yeah.
We're coming into Christmas. I'm going to ask you a question about that. Like I said, this is the biggest Christmas present you could probably get. But what is your biggest Christmas wish this year? What do you want? If someone could give you anything, what's on the list?
Getting a finish on the fight night, that would be the biggest dream.
How did I know you were going to say that? And I saw something on your Twitter. You posted a clip. I think it was from your OnlyFans, actually. Um, it was a reaction video about people's stuff or things people were sending you on OnlyFans. So I'm curious, what is the craziest request you've ever gotten on there? Because I've interviewed other fighters. I interviewed Roxy once, and she said people were asking for pictures of her feet, and I went, okay. So what's the craziest
Yeah.
thing you've gotten on there?
Honestly, people are pretty tame with me, even though I'm like, hey, like said that whole MMA is fuck thing. We're doing that like OnlyFans is fucked and like getting people to send me crazy stories, and it's nothing like too wild yet. People are obviously asking for like feet pictures, and some people will send me like weird videos of them which are kind of like interesting, but yeah, I don't know. People are kind of tame with me.
Maybe because you throw it out there that you want the weird stuff, you catch them off guard. I don't know.
I think so. It's like people. I think people want like that shock value, so they send it to people that will like kind of like get them going. Whereas I'm like, send it, man. Let's see it. Come on, like the crazier the better. And people are like, oh, well, whatever. Like they don't want to send it because I like I'm about it.
I love it. We'll get back to one more for the fighting, and I'll let you go because it's the holidays. We've all got a crazy amount of shopping to do. Amazon just sent me somebody else's Christmas gift, so I got to go sort that out. Um,
Oh,
but I'll ask you this: you're getting this one nice and early in 2024, January 20th at the ACC, oh, the Scotiabank Arena now. Obviously you had three fights in 2023, getting this first one in 2024. Is that a good plan again? Three? Would you want to get in one more? What are you kind of thinking about for the coming year?
Yeah, I mean, at least three would be ideal. Four would be even better. Like I've said from I got into the UFC, like I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time, and I want to be active. I want to fight a lot. I need to fight to be able to get that belt, and like that's what I'm going for. That's my dream is to hold that belt, and so we'll see what's along the way.
Well, I hope it works out. I know you say you're not good here for a long time, you're here for a good time. Kind of hope you are here for a long time in the UFC because you're a lot of fun and a bright star in the flyweight division. But Jasmine, thanks very much again. Merry Christmas. Looking forward to the fight. I will see you in Toronto.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Have a good one, Jasmine. Take care.
Yeah.